Thank you guys for joining us again here at Pursuit of Purpose for our podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we have with us a very special guest. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Shane Martin with Martin Motors and the Grill.
Martin Motors and the Grill. Now, you said the Grill. You said that really casual.
Yeah.
What is the Grill?
It's just a casual place, you know.
Now, look, man, I ain't trying to argue with our guest, but I have partaken of what you're calling casual. It is one of the nicest restaurants that Beaumont has to offer.
Okay. I like to consider it a fine dining with casual atmosphere, I guess you would say.
I will say that it has an accepting and inviting, warm environment.
That's what we shoot for.
But the food is of the highest quality that I've known to find around here.
Oh, it's top notch.
Yes, it is amazing. Not only is the food good, but if you enjoy to partake in an adult beverage from time to time, you got some pretty good bartenders as well.
I do have some good bartenders. I carry some high-end whiskey. You know, they know how to mix up pretty much anything you ask for. So, yeah.
And I think that you got some pretty good music from time to time and things like that going on.
Live music every Tuesday through Saturday.
There you go. So if you are in the Southeast Texas area or just want to come visit here in the Southeast Texas area, we call it God's country. So we welcome you to come. You've got to go check out the grill at Calder, right?
Oh, yeah. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
It is amazing. How we doing on brunch? Y'all still having brunch on Sundays?
No, we canceled our brunch and canceled our lunch. We no longer offer that. Just couldn't get the support. You know, when you're bleeding money out for labor and food costs and just can't get the support in that time, you have to make some adjustments.
Well, hopefully that'll come back at some point. It was one of my favorite things. I didn't get to go as often as I'd like.
I do believe we'll be bringing that brunch back in. You know, probably do something special, Mother's Day, Easter.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll figure out ways to slide it in because we did have an exceptional menu.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. And my wife, you know, it's hard enough to get my wife out of the house on a Sunday. That's her day of rest, you know. But if I said we're going to the grill for brunch, she'd pop right up and get ready to go. Boy, that was one of her favorite things.
We appreciate the support.
Nice. So right now you're dinner only.
Dinner only.
Okay.
You know, evenings, Tuesday through Saturday. Dinner service starts at 5. Bar opens at 4 for those of us who want an early start.
Okay.
Dinner service ends about 10 p.m. and bar closes at 11. We don't want to be open too late because that's generally when problems start.
Yes.
And we're just not that environment.
Indeed.
Yes. Indeed. So where do people find you? I mean, I know the grill at Calder is the name of it. Mm-hmm. So where do they find you?
Pretty much Facebook only at the moment.
Okay.
You know, we are working on a website. We do have some things down the pipeline that we are putting together, but go to the grill at Calder on Facebook. There's 2. We were hijacked on one.
Uh-oh.
So yeah. Long story.
You got to love hackers.
Yeah, long story. So whenever you pull up the grill at Calder, there's one that looks like it has a little brown background to it. That's the correct one.
Brown background, if you want the right one on Facebook. Where do they find the physical location? Give them the address.
6680 Calder Avenue in west end of Beaumont, right off of Dallin, in between Dallin and Calder.
Where all the fun stuff and the best food happens, y'all. Make sure you go visit Shane over at the grill at Calder. So now that we've gotten your shameless plug out of the way and we've told everybody where to find the best food around, where did you grow up, Shane?
All over the place.
Well, we'll start at the beginning. Let's start way back. Where were you born?
Oh, heck, I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Nobody's ever told you?
No.
You poor guy.
No kidding. I was born in Port Arthur, Texas.
Okay.
1974, quite some time ago.
Okay.
Now, my father had a serious case of the moves whenever I was growing up. So I believe I hit every school district between Port Arthur to Kuntz.
Wow.
I mean, Groves, Neyland, Port Angeles, Kuntz, Beaumont. Finally, we got into high school. He nestled me in at Beaumont. So I've been here ever since.
Which Beaumont High School did you graduate?
Westbrook,
the big one.
1992. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, how were your grades?
Yeah.
I love that face.
Play sports. They were enough to get by.
That was a
Jersey, right?
Oh yeah, everything is great now. Government and economics aced it. You know, I've always been good at government and economics, but that math, I'm not into the algebra and above. Yeah,
right.
It's not me.
Right. What about siblings?
Siblings, I have 4. Let's see. I have 2 stepsisters on one side of the family. I have 2 stepsisters on another side of the family. And I have a half brother, so I have 5.
5. Yeah. Where do you fall age wise?
Right in the middle.
Oh,
right in the middle. Yeah. So I'm 51. Let's see. I have everything 55, 53. No, you want to I take that back. I'm at the bottom side of it. I have a little brother. When I say a little brother, he's let's see, I'm 51, so he's 41 now.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess you'd say I'm almost to the bottom then. Not the
Okay.
middle.
So with that kind of crowd around, that kind of traffic, what was discipline like in your home?
Easy. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit much. All right. So I was raised an only child.
Okay.
I do have 5 siblings, but they're all by marriage.
Okay.
My father and mother divorced whenever I was about a year old, I guess, maybe a little bit younger than a year old. And then my mother met another man, Danny Martin, who I took his last name.
Okay.
And I'll get to that at some point in this podcast, I'm sure. Raised me as his own. So long story short, they were married, I believe, when I was a year and a half old. And I've just split families. He had children, and my biological father had stepchildren whenever he married his new wife. Now they've been together ever since, and since then my mom has passed. So it's just basically my father and I at the moment.
Okay.
But I do have sisters I love. I got to tell you, I love y'all, of course. And my little brother, yeah, he's something else. He's something else. And that dude can cook. I'd love to have him on at my place, but his genre of cooking is a little bit different. So he wins all these championships, barbecue and pulled pork, that kind of stuff.
Come on now.
Nice.
He's speaking my language.
He's good. He's good. He's good.
That's an art in itself.
Oh, yeah.
So specifically about discipline, since you were raised as an only child, more or less.
Got away with murder.
Did you didn't get a lot of whoopings?
No, well, I'm not going to say that.
Oh, okay.
I got my fair share. I deserved every one of them too, I'm sure at some point. Might want to disagree on a couple, but there was something in the past that probably those couple needed to be done for anyway. But no, discipline was fine. My parents were strict. My grades weren't where they needed to be. You touched on that a second ago. I had to bring that shame. For the most part, they weren't where they needed to be, but they were passing. Okay. I would get a progress report that would be less than stellar, and I'd be punished for the next 3 weeks. No TV, no nothing. Just had to go straight to my room, do my homework, study, and all that.
Got to bring them grades up.
Oh, yeah.
Got to produce results.
I'd bring them right back up. I'd get A's. My problem was it wasn't so much being smart. Okay, let's put it like that. I had plenty of common sense. Book sense, it was boring to me because I picked it up instantly.
Yeah.
So I would go in, I'd never study, I'd ace my test, but I wouldn't do my homework. I had better things to do in the afternoon. I want to go play. I want to go see friends. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't turn in homework. Well, guess what? Homework's a bunch of that grade.
Big part of your grade, yeah.
So picking my grades up was always easy. That was second nature. But I had my fair share of sitting in that room alone for a long time. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're in a couple of very different businesses, the automotive business and the restaurant business.
I'm in the 2 most stressful businesses you could possibly ever imagine.
Just about, yeah. Yeah, you're right up there.
Yeah, I believe police work's probably pretty stressful, but get you a restaurant. It'd be fun, they said.
Right. So my curiosity is, if you could think back to your childhood, like, I don't know, say early teen years, that's about the time when we start thinking about, I want to be this when I grow up, or I want to do that when I grow up. What did you want to be? What did you want to do when you were a kid?
Well, we go back preteen. I want to be president of the United States, but you couldn't give me that job now.
Right.
Typically architecture. I had loved architecture.
Really?
I took it in high school. I enjoyed it. It was something I wanted to pursue, but with a father in business, I just decided to go that route, just following his steps. So,
well, what does he think about that?
Oh, he couldn't have been more happy.
Good.
Then I probably got an education that Dartmouth couldn't have supplied.
Right.
So I had straight into the fire, right out of high school, right into work. I bypassed college. Sometimes I look back, I wish I would have, but again, I got a better education out on the street than I believe I could have paid for at college.
I wouldn't argue that a bit.
Right.
That's so often that's the case. And I've got kids on both sides of that. Some that, college was their place, academia, and others that, no, the learning curve
is quite different between a school setting and a economic setting.
Oh, absolutely.
My father put me out on the streets selling stuffed animals at the age of 13.
What?
And of course, I was driving. My father owned the car lot as well. So, I mean, I was driving at 13 years
Nice.
old. I don't want to go.
Nice.
Illegally, speaking to the police officer here.
That's all right. Former police officer. Yeah.
Long story short, I met some people at that very early age that were really influential. I met the owners of Market Basket. I had met the owners of several large dealerships at that time, and kind of got molded into sales. Let's put it like that. You tend to follow something that you feel is your passion. And the thing about sales is you're not selling the product, you're selling yourself.
That's it. Isn't that a fact?
Yeah. If you can have the best product in the world, but if the person don't like it, they're not buying from you.
Right.
So you have to be personable. You have to, learn how to read people. You have to learn how to communicate, for lack of better words. I was thrown out early and decided I didn't want to take the college route. I was into sports. I had opportunities, but, I felt like sports would not push me to where I needed to be in life, whereas my father actually did. So could not ask for a better day. Could not ask for a better outcome in my life.
That's amazing. That's not the common thread among all people.
Right.
That's very good.
Couldn't think of a better classroom though. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. It's you get out, you meet people, especially at an early age and young age, and you see how successful they are, and it gives you a drive. You want to be just like them. You want to be successful.
Yeah.
And you strive every day to be the best person you can be. And
right.
Before you know it, it's common nature.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, your dad was an aspirational part of that. Were there others that you can think of?
Offhand, there's so many people I've met in my life. I can't just name.
Sure.
Name one or two individuals. There's several I'd like to give props to. We don't have enough time in the day. But again, the biggest influence in my life had to be my stepfather, which again, there's no stepfathers when it comes to that. He was a good man to me.
But there's fathers and daddies, and you said he was your dad. That's what you called him several times. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good man.
I have a similar experience. We both came by the last name Martin in the same way.
Really?
Yep.
So you changed yours as well?
Yep. He adopted me when I was young.
Well, mine always wanted to adopt me, and I have a relationship with my biological father. Good man. At a young age, I didn't quite feel that way. We had some difference of opinions, and you get older and you realize some things are trivial.
Yeah.
But when I was 24, I believe, I was getting married for the first time. I think it was 24. It might have been 23 at that point. I had decided that I was going to change my last name to Martin to honor the man that raised me. And when I did that, that's another funny story, okay? So when I did that, he had no clue. He had no idea I was doing that. So I went through all the legality and did it, and then surprised him. He was also my best man in both marriages. Both marriages, good Lord. But no, he's again, he was an influential part of my life, and he raised me as his own. So I felt inclined to take his last name.
That's beautiful.
That is.
Now, the funny story about changing my last name, when I went to the DPS office to change my name on my license, apparently I had a warrant. Didn't even remember. Oh yeah. That was interesting.
That is funny.
I'm going to change my name, and I got a warrant for a speeding ticket that I apparently forgot to pay.
Oh, that's great.
Got cuffed to the seat.
Nice.
Had to wait for my mom.
Oh, no.
Yeah, fun times.
It's a funny thing you bring that up. When I was young, I was not a mechanic. Mm-hmm. And I worked in a lot of the, Beaumont dealerships and things. And I went through the certification to be able to do state inspections, So you had to go take the course from the DPS office.
Familiar with it? I did that as well.
Yes. Mm. So when you go take the course, while you are there, when they bring you in, they don't tell you this, but they take your license, they go run it for warrants. I could not believe that they picked up like 6 guys out of the room and arrested them because they had warrants, just like and they didn't expect it. They were like,
wow. Wow. Yeah. You want to talk about a shock. I'll tell you a shock. I'm standing in this line, and then out comes this 6'7" tall black guy, built got his hat on. I mean, he's all pressed to the nines, and he walks out. He says, "Are you Shane Baker?" At that point, yes, sir. You're under arrest.
Oh, no.
Like, oh my God, for what? Unpaid traffic violations. Follow me. So I follow him. He brings me into this little room, about the size of this room. There's 4 chairs in it. 3 of them's already occupied with dudes cuffed. So I'm like, I guess this is what's about to happen to me. So
it's a party.
Cuffs me to the chair, and I got to sit and wait for my mom to get there. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And paid my traffic ticket. Now I'm an adult at this time. I was 24 years old.
Yeah.
I'm an adult. Boy, you talk about a pissed off mom. And I think that ticket was like from 4 years prior.
Oh my God.
So I've been driving around for 4 years, not even realizing I had a warrant.
Wow.
You ask yourself, how do you forget about paying a traffic ticket? If your life was half as hectic as mine, you would understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I can relate.
Yeah, it wasn't a purposeful thing. It was just a.
Listen, this dude came out and I just instantly panicked. I'm like, what'd I do? So yeah, that was fun. Good times.
I don't know what they were going to do, but I knew who they sent to do it.
Man, he was coming straight at me too. Dead at me. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, and this lady that was behind the counter, she steps away from the counter. I'm like,
Oh God.
She's making room.
yeah. I'm like,
Just in case there's a scuffle.
I'm running from this dude, just like a middle linebacker. I'm
Right.
not anywhere.
No.
Oh,
Wow.
man. You don't know how much it's going to take you down, but you
Oh.
saw what they were planning to
I
use.
was telling you,
That's right. You had yourself a
he
wrong
come around
moment,
that
man.
corner staring at me, and that lady stepped back from the counter. I'm like, I am in trouble, and I don't know why. And he tells me why, and I'm like, oh my God.
Oh,
That's great.
Man, that it all comes back to me.
Oh yeah, instantly. You know?
Yes.
You're like, how did I forget to pay that? And then talk about embarrassment.
Yes.
You ever been to the DPS office here in Beaumont?
Many times.
There's hundreds of people at any
Always.
given time.
Always.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and here I am, 24 years old, getting brought to the back.
Wow. Wow.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm sorry that happened, but I'm not sorry that you have the
heck,
story.
Don't apologize. It's a memory.
It's a great story.
It's a memory.
I love
Yeah.
how the wrath crescendos. We go from the wrath of the state of Texas to the wrath of Mama.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Right.
And you had to go home with
Listen,
that
Tim,
one.
I'd rather fought that guy than
Yes.
my mom.
Yes.
Yeah, boy. Just a little old Italian woman. Yeah.
Oh man.
Strong-headed. Good
Oh.
night. Strong-headed.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That
I got my
is-
butt tore up. Man, I got so many stories about that woman getting into me.
Oh.
So is that where you picked up your cooking?
Oh God, no.
No?
No. My mother could burn boiling water.
Ah, that's awesome.
No. The cooking was always second nature. I picked that up from my dad.
Okay.
My dad did the cooking in the household, so I learned from him, and I learned from his mom.
Oh,
Now his mom was I can't say the exact words that we refer to her as coon ass.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
straight across the
I
border.
mean, we're 30 miles from
from Racing,
Cajun country.
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Race.
Racing,
Yes.
Louisiana, way down the bayou. That woman could cook. Oh my God, that woman could cook. And I'd watch her cook. My mom and dad would always leave me over there, and they'd go out and do whatever they were doing at times when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. They're still newlyweds at that point, so I can only imagine what they're doing. But I'd watch that old lady cook. Man, she'd cook. She'd cook everything, smothered pork chops on down to eggplant. I mean, you name it, that woman could do it.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's too daggum early to be talking about food.
Never too early or
No.
too late to be talking about food.
Right.
We are plump Southeast Texas boys, and we love to eat around here.
That's right.
So you can always talk
That's
about
right.
food.
Shameless plug, the grill at Calder.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yes, we are
Wait till dinner time, though. Wait till dinner time.
Yeah, that is one of our apologies around here. Absolutely.
So I want to bring something up because it seems like a great opportunity for any of you out there, and I'll let either of you guys give your input on this, but any of you out there, especially you men, if you get the opportunity to become a step parent to a child, don't take that lightly. That is one of the greatest honors that any man can ever have, is to become a part of a child's life, whether you be a stepdad, an adoptive dad, or a biological father. Any way that goes, take that job serious,
Yes.
because that is an investment into the legacy of mankind. And look,
Yeah.
you got a couple of us sitting right here that we appreciated it. So take it serious and make a difference.
I agree. Any man can be a father, but not every man can be a dad.
That's exactly right.
takes a special kind of person to raise another person's children as his own. And I was fortunate to have that. And I would say, listen, Timmy, there are no such thing as steps.
No, that's exactly right. I call my stepdad dad as well.
Yeah. They're your kids, they're your family, 100%.
Yeah. So. Well, thank you for sharing your life with us in that regard. And, I've actually met your dad. He probably would never remember me, but when I was younger, I came shopping for vehicles at the lot there on College Street. So how long has that lot been there? How long has your dad been in the car business?
Oh, man. Now, let's take it back deep. I'm 51, so 53 years he's been in the car business. So
wow.
Started out in Port Arthur. He actually started out as a bread route man. Worked for Rainbow Bread.
Oh my gosh, I remember Rainbow. Yeah. When I was a kid, I went to Roy Guess on the north side for when I was up to the third grade. They took us to watch the bread be made. They took us to Rainbow. Really? And we got to walk. It was on College, if I'm not mistaken. The bakery was on College Street. I don't remember where it was. Doesn't really matter. But they took us and let us tour it. And then they also, at some point, let us tour Dunkin' Donuts and watch how donuts get made.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So your dad was a bread route man for Rainbow Bread.
Rainbow Bread. Then he left that and got into a gas station business, service station. And then from the service station, he went into the car business and then into the novelty business, Jefferson Novelty, which was all the old video games.
Oh.
So whenever you'd see the big, tall video games in all the little stores, he had about, I'd say, a good 60, 70% of those. He owned.
Wow. The big console games.
Oh, yeah. Stuff you stick them quarters in for hours. Yeah.
Man, I miss those.
Oh, yeah.
So given the age, I guess there were arcades, but then after arcades, a lot of them, those machines stuck around. People owned them and they would put them now in stores. And
they're actually still a niche market. So you still have people that want them for their houses. Yeah. But back then at that time, that was the big thing. Everybody and their brother wanted to go play games. We had a place called the Hot Dog Factory in the Colonnade Shopping Center where Elena's is.
Yeah.
We had opened that. I say we like I had some do it. I was 12 years old. My father and mother opened that. And good times, but then Nintendo came out. Yeah. And my dad would never get me a Nintendo.
That was the enemy, man.
He said that was the death of arcades. So now I love watching all these people play these games, especially my son. I love watching him play these games. I don't have the coordination to do it. He's telling me, can you do better? Nope. I'm just going to watch you. It's good. But back to the original question at hand, car business. He's been in business 53 years. We've been on college for 1990 is when we broke ground on college, and we just recently sold that location to Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Okay.
So after, a legacy of being on College Street, we're transitioning and moving on to MLK.
Okay.
Kind of get down into a little bit different of an area for what we do. We do in-house financing, so it's a little bit better area for us to be in.
Very good.
It is.
Very good. So that's amazing. So I'm really curious. So I get how you got into the car business. That's a legacy thing. Your dad, exposed you to that and sales and all that stuff. How on earth did you hit your head one day and decide I'm going to have a restaurant?
Oh, I believe I was driving down the street and a rock slapped me upside the face. No. My father was friends with the guy that had the place before us, Murad, Signature Kitchen by Murad. And Murad had fell on some hard times and asked if my dad wanted to purchase it. And my dad talked to me about it. I'm like, sure, why not? Let's try. We were looking at doing a restaurant for a while. We were thinking everything from a boil house on down. So, and speaking of boiling, we were about to start boiling crawfish every Tuesday night. Tonight.
Yeah.
So if you like crawfish, you guys better come out there tonight. We're going to start tonight. But the restaurant basically fell into our hands. A little bit of an investment. When I say a little bit of investment up front, we got in pretty cheap. But it seems like once you get in, then that's when you realize
it ain't cheap no more.
What you need. It's constant upkeep.
Right. Restaurants always. Grew up working restaurants and stuff as a kid. We were really doing lots of things, but there was always time for that. But at a young age, I don't know, maybe late high school, you kind of figure it out that it's this incredible portal. All this unrefined material comes in. You got steaks and all these kind of things, and then it just moves right through the system. And once you get the system mastered, then the hard part is to basically keep it up.
Well, yeah,
It's a lot of work.
The kitchen staff is integral, of course, but even more than the kitchen staff, it's your people that's the face of your business. Okay, your wait staff.
Yes,
your wait staff is super important.
Right.
And if you manage to get the right people in that place, your patrons will constantly come back.
Right.
But to see the stuff like you're talking about come in, I mean, we buy whole slabs of prime cut meat, and then we're in there cutting our meat ourselves.
Right.
So whenever you get a chunk of meat in about that big, and then you're cutting it down, then you see where you take it from there to the plate, which our plates look like art.
They really do. They're beautiful.
That's awesome.
You look at that and you're like, how can that ever have come from what came through that back door?
Yes.
So your kitchen staff is integral, but your help that brings everything out and talks to people is the most important part.
Sure. Yeah, but that's definitely the genius of a good kitchen staff.
Of course.
And but I do agree. I spent times on both sides of the counter, so eventually you're out front.
Right.
And it is about personality. It is about atmosphere.
Well, that's me. That's my position. When I'm there, I'm generally out shaking hands and kissing babies. I mean, I want to touch every table. I want to talk to every client that comes in. I want to, make sure they're happy. And I mean, listen to me. You can't please everybody, no matter how hard you try.
Boy, ain't
no
that
matter
the
how
truth.
perfect a product you put out there, you're not going to please everybody's taste bud.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that you don't please, regardless of your opinion, if it was good or not, you have to listen to it. You have to try to make note of it. Because again, it is everybody does have a different taste.
Yes. Yes.
What I love my pork belly. Some people can't stand pork belly. I got one that I believe I'd run 100 miles to get a plate of if I had to, but again, appealing to everybody is very hard.
Yeah.
You just have to try to find some middle ground with it.
Right. And I guess in the restaurant industry itself, and even right here in our community, there are a few genres. There's certain folks that just focus, like say Greek, they just focus on one thing, or within a particular family of things. And I noticed that that kind of helps the customer base. They can kind of run a little bit of a circuit. And
Correct.
Here you guys have established yourself. Now you're in that circuit.
Correct.
They think of us on a rhythm. And then once you're in that rhythm, then that just starts creating that energy. That's the way it seems to me.
Yeah, if you want a refined dining experience, I'm pretty much the place to go in Beaumont.
Yes.
JW's Patio, excellent. J. Wilson's on Gladys Avenue, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, I'll plug those guys as well, but we're in that class, if not a step above, as far as what we offer plating wise. Okay, whenever you compare our dishes to each other, hands down, I mean, my dish looks like it belongs on the wall.
Nice.
Okay. My atmosphere may not be as upbeat or as hip as some people would like it, but I'm not trying to push for that.
Right.
I'm trying to push for something quaint, something somebody could come in wearing a shirt outside their pants and feel just as comfortable as the guy that walks in a 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
My whole thing is if you're comfortable, you'll enjoy your food.
Yes.
And I appreciate y'all letting me in with no pants on. I mean, that was nice. It was a great experience.
The phone, you can't come in there with that though.
But you let me, and I really appreciate that.
It was cute. And I like the way it said "wow" on the phone.
Yes. It was. Yeah. I mean, the messaging is important with advertising.
Please tell me you wore your Jesus sandals too.
Of course.
Yes,
of course.
yes.
We got to keep it holy.
So. What a graceful environment you guys.
What did y'all get me into?
I washed my hands.
Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God. At least that's the only part.
Like it was clean. Right? So, what's your least favorite thing about having a restaurant?
Oh, let's see. Keeping the help happy.
Okay.
Get a restaurant. It'd be fun. Get a bar. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
It was stress relief in the beginning. Okay, so mind you, coming from a high stress business of the car business, going to the restaurant and bar business, generally in a bar, everybody's happy. Okay, so that side was great because that's where I spent most of my time. I would be back and forth in the patio, out on the bar,
right,
making sure those guys were good. Then I'd go walk inside and check everybody inside, make sure the food service is good, everything's good. But keeping the help happy seems to be the hardest thing. And, nowadays it seems like your help, for lack of better words, they dictate what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, and how they're going to do it.
It's crazy, this entitlement culture that we have.
Our country in general has had a movement that started, I'm going to say, back in early 2000s to where ethics went out the window. The younger generations just don't have the work ethic or the morals that the older generation has. And I'm not saying all of them by any means. Listen to me. There's a good 50% of those that are the greatest people you'll ever meet, including some of my wait staff.
Yeah.
You just have to weed through the ones that want to hold you hostage and find the correct people to put back in place that can pull the weight and pull it correctly.
Yeah. A sad thing is that, and I say this, I'm going to say we. I'm going to take responsibility part of this myself. We didn't build character into our youth.
You and
like
I
what
are
we
of
should
the
have.
same opinion. I feel like Gen X, us, okay, we have crippled our nation.
Yeah.
And when I say we have crippled our nation, we didn't give anybody a sense of accountability. I, for one, was very tough on my kids. I still am.
Yeah, me too.
Because I do want to instill ethics and morals in them. And
yes.
I have 3 children who I can tell you, not just because they're mine. I mean, I hear it from everybody that is ever around my kids. I have well-respected, well-mannered kids who actually know what it is, know the value of a dollar, and they know you have to work for it. Okay. But the consensus is people our age did not want to do to our kids what our parents did to us. We didn't want to be so strict. We didn't want to be so mean. We wanted to be the friend.
Or give them a better life than we had.
And it crippled us.
Yeah.
It absolutely crippled us.
We crippled the nation.
Right.
That's what we did. We crippled the culture.
I also believe all the medicines, ADHD medication. Okay. Do you know why there was no ADHD that we knew of back in our generation? Yeah, because we got our butts whipped, so that told us, hey, we did something wrong.
I was medicated heavily every day at school, out in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
By Miss Guidry, Miss Haynes, Miss Collier. I can remember their names, folks.
Man,
these were my teachers at Roy Guest Elementary. If y'all are still alive, I love you and thank you for whooping my butt almost every day.
I remember a Mr. Huckabee out of Koontz. That dude had a paddle with holes in it. Yeah, and that was at a time where they bust your rear end.
Yeah, that was for better velocity.
Yes.
Yeah. I tell you what,
you could hear it whistle when it's coming.
And again, but it's that era.
Yeah.
That put us into a path that we knew what we were doing. We were accountable for it. Hell, we were feral. Our parents.
That's right.
Our parents would either be gone, or when they were home, they were mean as hell.
Or kicked you out of the house. So you don't come back inside till the light comes on.
Yeah. Or when your mother stands at the door and gives you this loud whistle you can hear from 3 blocks away. I know I need to go home at that point. But now paint my parents as bad. No,
that's not bad.
My parents were constantly there. My parents were constantly into me to do the better, be right. But again, I do that with my children, but the consensus is most of people our age did not do that with their children. So
I think a lot of them had this concept of they wanted their children to have essentially like a pain-free life, and of course they're just flooding them with all kind of devices and all these sorts of things, and mainly because I think they forgot the value of pain, the value of having of creating your own comfort. And so if my child never feels discomfort, well, then they're going to have a happy life. Well, now we're learning that was a terrible philosophy.
Well, like I told you earlier, I mean, I was raised an only child, so I did have to self-soothe. Okay. I did have siblings that I saw every now and then, but I mean, it was an every now and then basis. But learning to self-soothe, learning to, go in and hold yourself accountable for your actions. That does tend to mold you into a different type of person, it could go both ways. You can either lead you down a path that, you end up behind bars, or it could lead you down a path where you're one of the greatest people to ever survive.
Right.
And me personally, I live on a basis of respect everybody until they show you that they don't deserve it.
Right.
And at that point, I mean, you could walk by me. you have no bearing to me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I coined a phrase a long time ago. It's not what you do that affects you. It's not what you do today that affects you. It's what you did yesterday to affect others tomorrow.
That's good.
I like that.
So,
Very profound.
You know, if you live a life to where you show respect to everybody, you treat everybody as an equal, doesn't matter skin tone, you know, language barriers, whatever. Show everybody respect.
Right.
You know, by showing everybody respect, you in return get respect.
That's it.
So there's a few people out there in this world that aren't of that mindset. But if they were to change their thinking and, you know, not let people live in their head rent free, this world would be a better place.
Indeed.
Boy, you sure right.
Indeed.
Well, you shared what was your least favorite thing. Well, your most difficult thing was your, you know, the staff.
Correct.
Having to, you know, keep them happy. So what's your favorite thing?
Oh, the smiles. The smiles. You know, whenever you walk out and everybody in your restaurant smiling, you know, there's conversation going on, there's people, there's laughter. You don't see anybody looking at their food with a disgruntled face, you know. So no, it's gratifying whenever you walk through and you see everybody happy, especially on the bar side. You know, we don't have any issues in our bar at all. I mean, there is nobody in there arguing. There's nobody. Everybody's happy.
Are you telling me that nobody gets stabbed at your place?
No, nobody gets stabbed.
Wow.
You know,
there's one right down the road from you
that people get shot.
People get shot and stabbed.
I won't name names.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about names.
You know, but I have been in that establishment, and it's an enjoyable establishment. You know, but yeah, you tend to walk out of that place wondering, okay, do I need to be looking over my shoulder?
Just survived. I just made it out.
Right. My place, you can walk out there and not have to worry about anything.
So if you want to enjoy an environment full of smiles, make sure you visit the grill at Calder.
Yeah. Really Calder. Yeah.
And I can personally attest to that. It really does. When you see it, the first thing you do when you get your plate is you smile because it's so beautiful. And the first time I ate there, I'll never forget, we get this stuff and I sat there for a minute. I didn't want to mess it up. Like I was looking at it like, wow. Like somebody put the time and heart into making this thing so beautiful.
Right.
And here I am about to chew it up. I didn't want to do it, but I did. And I didn't regret it either. It was delicious. I was smiling the whole time.
Yeah, it's all in the presentation. Listen to me. If you look at a plate and you're impressed with the plate, your mind is already programmed.
Yes.
The food is going to be good.
I think that's
in
accurate.
the presentation.
Yep.
You know.
So you've talked about, you know, all the things that you've done and how much of a great influence your dad has been about your business and all that kind of stuff. I want to ask you a loaded question, the big old fat question.
Fire away.
Are you successful?
As successful as I want to be? No, I don't believe we will ever be as successful as we want to be. You know, and again, loaded question. I'm successful in my life as far as the person I have wanted to become.
That's a fair answer. I like that.
I think that is about the best way I can explain that. Monetary, we can't take it with us when we die, but your name, your demeanor is the legacy that carries on. You know.
And I love it. I love the way you like preambled that answer. Was you said I'm not done. I'm paraphrasing, but you said I'm not finished. I'm not complete. It's a fascinating thing that, and I don't think this is necessarily unique to the restaurant business, but it just so happens that another guest that we've had on our show was a gentleman, you may know him, Chris Alexa.
Yeah.
He came on here and he's got an organization that he named Aspire to Be More. And that answer you gave was that.
Never stop striving to be a better version of yourself.
Yes. And I love that. So to give a little caveat to that question, what's the difference in a successful person and a failing person?
Oh, you know, that is a hard one to answer. A failing person is a person that just crawls in a hole on the first sign of adversity. Okay. There's adversity in every aspect of life. No matter what you do, you're going to have problems in life. You're going to have people that are going to come at you. You're going to have people that are going to want to keep their thumb on you. Okay. It's how you persevere through it. All right. A failing person will give up. A failing person will say, okay, it's just time to shut my doors. It's time for me to walk into that closet and not talk to anybody. Whereas a successful person is going to take those experiences and mold off of them and build to be a better one. Okay. That may not give you the answer you're looking for, but in my heart, that's what I feel. I think the difference between success and failure is the person's drive. Bottom line. If you strive to be better, the pursuit of purpose, again, naming your show here, always work to be better tomorrow than you were today.
That's beautiful.
It is.
So just definitely don't give up at the first sign of adversity. I mean, let's look at Abraham Lincoln. Let's take this back. We'll give a little history lesson here, okay? I believe that man failed 14 times before he was named president.
At least.
Perseverance.
Yes.
I have that hanging on the wall in my office, and I look at that every day. I'm human like everybody else. There's days whenever I wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh, another day. You know, how am I going to get through this day? Well, then I snap out of that little funk and I realize, you know what? I was given another day.
That's right.
God gave me another breath. God gave me the ability to stand up. God gave me the gumption to work. So
you got the opportunity for another
The
day.
opportunity is always there. It's your outlook on how you take it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, that's a beautiful answer. That is a beautiful answer. Do you have anything you're afraid of?
Roaches and sharks.
Shark.
Everything else is trivial. Roaches and
sharks. That's serious business. Huh?
Now my fiance laughs at me about the sharks. I mean, she's a diver, a rescue diver. And,
That's great.
Okay.
yeah, so you know, she's always telling me, let's go to Costa Rica, let's go diving. I'm like, I'm not going diving. I'll sit on the beach and drink while you go out there and dive. I said, sharks are the reason we're not supposed to be in the water. So she laughs at me about that.
That is great.
That's right.
Roaches, man, I have a phobia from years ago. God, something that small running at something this big is
They're
it's not
fearless.
right.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Something wrong with that
It's
thing.
not right.
That's right.
So which ones do you like the least of the roach families? Like you got the little German ones.
And I don't
big
put that much
cockroach-
thought into them.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Seriously, you want to talk about phobia? People are scared of spiders. Spiders don't bug me, but a roach, man, if one ran across that desk, I'd scream like. Yeah.
Well, we're pretty clean here at
Well,
the
thank
Pursuit of
God,
Purpose. The building does really well with maintenance. We don't have
certain the grill is too.
Yeah.
You're not welcome here.
no risk of roaches at the grill.
Listen, I will tell you where my phobia of that began. Okay, now it's funny how we talk about success and we're talking about roaches. I mean, this is
Welcome to the
hilarious,
Pursuit of Purpose,
I know,
baby. Right?
I was probably 8 years old. I was at my grandmother's house. And now, mind you, I'm about to really date myself. MASH was on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Remember MASH?
Back for the news.
Do I?
Now, I was supposed to be asleep this time because I'm a kid, you know,
Yes.
a young kid. And I remember sitting against the couch on the floor. I'm leading up to this. I'm giving the full story here. Watching MASH, and the flickering of the TV, I saw something in the corner of the
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, I'm not curious. What the heck was that? You know, so I get up and I go to this side of the room where the light switch was. Mind you, that thing was on that side. I flicked that light on, right? That damn thing flew from the corner of the ceiling to me, landed right there.
Oh,
Right there.
man.
Right then was the phobia of roaches. From there forward, I freaked out, screamed. I woke up the whole house. And from the time of 7 or 8 years old till now, I'm telling you, a roach crawls by. I'm not going to say walks, so that's giving it too much credit. Crawls by. I'm going the other way.
So your favorite movie is
Going
Joe's
that way.
Apartment.
Oh, my God.
Obviously. I mean, that's,
Dude,
yeah.
really? That and Creep Show. You remember Creep Show?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Some dude was a clean nut. And, I'm not even going into it. This is
Oh, that's great.
So decades later, that trauma still
that
lives.
trauma is still there.
Yes.
Trauma is real.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, trauma is real.
Trauma is
Wow.
real.
So if you're ever like incapacitated and somebody wants to test to see if you truly are incapacitated, they can bring one.
I'm done. I'm done. Seriously. Bring oxygen. Just for me.
It's like a shame.
They're gonna have to revive me.
That's right. We're checking his vitals. Wait, we got one more test.
Yeah. The roach test.
Hey, but listen, there were several funny stories about this. My second wife, that's how she broke the ice with me. Yeah.
Oh,
so
no.
She knew I had a phobia of
Oh,
roaches
no.
with some friends, right? Well, she got these plastic roaches and stuck it in my McDonald's bag
No.
that I had in my truck. So when I left a party one night, I reached in to grab
Oh
a
my
fry,
God.
right? Reached in to grab a fry, and I pulled that thing out. I about wrecked my Escalade. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that would have been Lauren Bachelot. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. I guess y'all are on decent terms, even though the relationship was toxic, apparently, with the roaches.
That's the mother of 2 of my children. So yeah, we're
That's awesome. That is great. So you strike
still
me
laughing
as
about it now.
That's great stuff, man.
Yeah.
You strike me as an ambitious guy.
Of course.
Somebody who's always looking ahead and making plans and making adjustments and keeping score of your own self and trying to improve that score. What's next for you?
Seeing my kids succeed. That's what's next for me.
That's beautiful.
I'm at the position in life where I run the car business. I run the restaurant. It's not much really else that I'm looking for other than focusing on my kids. I want my kids to be their best. You know? So yeah, my future is watching them become good adults.
Do they participate? And you got a lot of projects going on.
No. I have a 12-year-old son who's excelling in baseball.
Okay.
He plays select baseball. I have a 15-year-old daughter who's smart as a whip. She's a mascot out at Hardin Jefferson.
Okay.
And then my oldest is going for a psychology degree at Sam Houston. Right. Got a built-in clientele with her family. It's a shame
She's gonna help you with
that
roaches.
Being a psychiatrist, you cannot consult your own family.
Right.
So it's a shame because I'm telling you, I would make her rich right there.
Absolutely. Well, you realize that's probably going to be a case study for some paper or something.
I'm sure.
Her doctoral thesis.
That's right.
I'm sure. No, I just want to see my kids succeed. So that's what's next for me. I want to watch my kids succeed.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
Right now, I'm grounded in what I do. I'm focused in what I'm doing. It's an at the moment. So I mean, naturally, you should be looking at your future. You should be looking at what is your next step. Well, at this point, trying to get everything off the ground with the restaurant, keep it going smooth. That's my focus. That and my kids.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So currently, I mean, I was going to ask you about legacy, but you answered that in the same question. Yeah. So you cheated a little bit. What impact do you want to leave on the restaurant world? Because that restaurant that you have, it's a little different than any other ones around. And it wasn't something that you're carrying on from another part of your family. This is your thing. That's your signature. So what mark do you want to leave on that?
So I can't take full credit for my signature of the place. Okay. We hired a chef when we first opened. Guy was a culinary genius. He's the one who put us on the path we're on. I will give him props no matter how hard the separation was whenever we decided to part ways. But his vision is where we are. Mm-hmm. Okay. My vision is to keep the customer happy. You know, if I keep my clientele happy, my clientele constantly return. He gave us a menu that we have built off of. We have changed things on it, but he gave us the foundation that we currently put out there on the plate. So.
Well, if I could be so bold, he became a part of your vision.
For the most part. So yeah, I mean,
you can give him credit for the part that he served.
In that aspect, he put us on the path for where we were.
Yeah.
Whenever we first jumped into that, we weren't sure if we wanted to go back to like an old Cody's style restaurant where we wanted to offer burgers and things like that.
Man, that's a blast from the past.
Wanted to do boiling like Sartons did in the same location as well. We just wasn't sure what we were doing, but we knew we wanted to have a nice bar and patio atmosphere. So we were building off of that aspect. The restaurant was a bonus. Okay. We wanted it for the bar. There's no bars and no restaurants in Beaumont at all that have a patio like ours.
Right.
And so we were feeding on that end while he was feeding on the kitchen end. And then it all blended together and everything came together. And I mean, for lack of better words, it's a great place.
Yeah.
Well, I broke a tooth back when it was Sarton's.
Oh, yeah.
And I blame Doug for that. But I mean, it wasn't his fault that I was a pig.
You know
and I
what? I
kept going
think I
there.
found that too.
Yeah, you probably did. You probably did. When my wife
clean
and
it
I,
up for roaches.
Right.
Yes, that is again cleanest restaurant down.
when my
That's
wife
it.
and I first dated, our first ever date was lunch at Sarton's.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
All you could eat barbecue
I'm
crab.
gonna take it back further than that. Okay, so Sarton's was there at that
Yeah.
location. All right. To take it further than that, my first wife and I, that's where she worked. She worked at Cody's.
Yeah.
And her and her sister worked there. So to go into that building every
It's pretty
day, when I
crazy,
walk
isn't it?
over there, I'm like, who'd have thought I'd ever ended up in here? You know.
Isn't that
So
wild?
yeah, it's you never know where life is going to take you. You never know the people you meet, what impact they're going to have on your life. And again, something as simple as meeting your girlfriend at the time at the place she works. The next thing you know, you're in the place and you own the place. So it's your paths can go far down to where you'd never ever realize it.
That's right. But it's all connected. The world seems so big,
It's a spider web.
but it's so small.
Yeah, it's a spider web.
Yeah.
Everything's connected.
Right.
What is the old the theory of six, I think?
The degrees of separation. Is that what you mean?
6
Yeah.
degrees separation.
Yeah.
I think it's less now. The further we get with technology, I want to say there was only 3 degrees of separation now between any two people on the planet.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's amazing that you're connected to somebody. I was just talking to my fiance last night. One of her friends is married to a famous actor's sister, and they were talking about how they knew people from here. And you think so, little Beaumont actors know people from Beaumont. What? Yeah. Well, hey, apparently there's a lot more out there than you know.
Well, I mean, Beaumont, Port Arthur area has produced some of the greatest musicians, some of the greatest names on the planet.
I tell you what, I do need to break into that comment. Speaking of people who hit it and do very well, we have Todd Howard on our stage, formerly of Granger Smith. I don't know if you remember that name or not. Exceptional, very talented artist. And to give a plug to another group called Melon Jelly.
Okay.
Have you guys ever heard of Melon Jelly?
No, but I'm curious.
You
Yes.
need to look up my music schedule and come listen to these guys.
Melon Jelly.
They won the Houston Blues Fest competition.
Wow.
They went to Nashville to compete. They made it to the quarterfinals in Nashville for the national music. And then they were just recently played on B.B. King's Bluesville.
Really?
And they're self-promoted. They have no manager, no nothing. They made number 15 on Billboard Blues charts in company of Eric Clapton, Etta James, and more.
Wow.
These guys are going places.
That's amazing.
Melon Jelly.
Melon Jelly. You need to look them up. Mark Nesmith, Stephen Drody, and they have another little gentleman in there. It's a 3-piece, and I mean, they are exceptional. So, yeah, a little shameless plug for Melon Jelly.
Yeah.
And they're from around here?
From here.
Okay.
From here.
Very good. Very good. Well, we love to have musicians on the show if they'd ever want to come on. If you're hooked up with them, let them know.
They would love to be.
We love to share stories of how music is made. How it comes to be. We've had Ethan Osborne on here. I believe he's been at your place.
He's been out there, yes.
He's a friend and a guest of the show. Talented young man, doing real well.
Yes, he is.
So we're kind of working towards the end of our interview now. You've been an amazing guest.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you.
You've got some amazing stories. We've got a few things that we like to do, kind of traditions with the show, the questions that we ask towards the end. But before we do that, is there anything that you'd like to share just on your own that you'd like the audience to know about you, about your journey, about life, about it, any words of wisdom, philosophy? No pressure. But all the world's problems will be solved right here.
Yeah.
And go.
You do not want to take my advice on solving world problems. I don't believe I can handle that one.
But if you're hungry.
Right. No kidding. You're hungry, I can feed you. No, there's really nothing more for me to add, honestly.
Don't get in the car business. Don't get in the restaurant business. Those two. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
If that is your passion and that is your drive, by all means, do it. Pursue what your passion is, and you will be successful. As far as anything else with me, I'm an open book. Anybody has any questions? Anybody wants to know anything? Look me up. Ask. That's real simple.
Just don't bring him a roach when you come to get your
For
questions.
the love of God, please do not. Please do not. And don't bring me some picture of a shark with a smile. Things do not smile.
They don't. They don't. That's not a smile.
I'll be honest with you, Shane. You're the very first guest of the show to come on, and when asked what you're afraid of, the roach.
Yes,
that was awesome. That was one of my favorite.
Everybody's afraid of them. They just don't want to admit it.
It's universal.
You tell me right now if one ran to your foot. What would you do?
Jump.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Did you ever watch Fear Factor?
Yes. Stuck their hands in those things.
Some of them
They
even ate them.
They had to get poured on them.
Do you remember when they ate the hissing ones?
No, I turned it off.
Man.
Well, I suddenly had to take a pee break.
Yes. Yeah. It probably didn't even come back. Well, I'm good. I got felt.
That's great.
Well,
as we get ready to close, Chuck, are there any questions or any comments you'd like to give?
I'm just thank you for coming on, and I'd love to hear your just incarnating story. Starting with just first your home, then your dad, and then all of the things that you just willingly got involved in through the years. And and appreciate your openness and vulnerability to say, hey, some of these things work, some of them didn't, but once I found that path, then I went after it.
It goes back to what I said, find your passion.
Yes.
It's simple. If you want to be successful in life, you got to wake up every day and want to do it.
Yes.
So don't settle for mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the best advice.
Thank you. And as an interviewee, he surprisingly is just we kind of have a little bit of a pattern of questions we like to ask, and you keep preempting our questions, which was giving advice to not only yourself but the next generation. You just did it. Awesome. So thank you.
Awesome. Very welcome.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 orders of business. I've got one last question that I'm going to ask you. It's our final question for the show every time. But before we do that, you mentioned that help being one of your biggest obstacles or hurdles in the restaurant business. Are you hiring right now?
Yes, we are hiring. We're hiring for wait staff. We're hiring for bar staff. We want to get the best people in our area to offer the best service we can offer. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we are hiring.
So the amazing thing is that based on your description of your schedule, that leaves a lot of free time. Even working full time as wait staff at your restaurant, what is the schedule like?
Schedule's pretty easy for wait staff. I mean, bottom line, you're in there you'll come in around 3 and you'll be out of there by 10. Most cases, my bar staff stays from 10 to 11, and sometimes we're there a little later, depending if we're busy or not. I mean, I do have a late license. I could stay open until 2 a.m. if I wanted to, but
I may want to get an application myself. We'll work for food, kind of thing.
If we're busy, we'll stay. And if you want to come in and work for food, let's do it. Be cheaper in the long run for me.
So if any of you out there consider yourself to be a high quality food industry person, wait staff, or service minded, and want to learn about being a waiter or waitress, come see Shane at the grill at Calder. It'd be a great place to work. I guarantee you'd have a good boss. Mm-hmm. And is there anything that you have? What are the requirements?
Don't really have any requirements. I mean, we want you to be professional. We want you to be clean, of course.
Got to be 18.
Yes, definitely have to be 18 because we do serve alcohol. So
got to have reliable transportation. Got to be able to get there and back.
That is probably the most important thing.
Got to be able to speak English.
I'm gonna take it a step further outside of the obvious. Of course, you have to speak English. So if you speak Spanish, that's a bonus because all of my kitchen staff speak Spanish.
Heck yeah!
But to take it a step further, if you have a drive to be a better person and to give the best service you could possibly give, that's what I'm looking for.
So now I've got family that has done food industry, like wait staff type positions forever. Mm-hmm. Can you make a career out of being a waiter or waitress?
Yes, you can make a career out of it. And I think I know where you're going with that as far as what type of monetary value somebody can receive there. We have a few people making upwards of $800 to $1,000 a week in tips. So yeah, you could make a very good, comfortable living as a wait staff.
And a relatively flexible schedule. You get the majority of your day.
You're pretty well free.
You're free, and then you come in at
And I'm not open on Sunday. We're not open on Monday. So you pretty well have a long weekend as well.
You're drawing me out, Shane. I may have to come over there.
Okay, well, come on.
Yeah. Two things I hear in that. One, if you have folks who have maybe dual vocations, that gives them a lot of opportunity, because if they have some morning things they can do,
Or if they're in college.
Yeah, they have some other project going on. And the other thing I hear is, and we've had another guest on here who's also in the restaurant, visited some time back, but her attitude was looking at the hospitality business as an industry, not as a supplement.
Correct.
And I just thought that was quite a compliment to everything that you guys pour into it, that people could come to it, as Rob was implying, as a career. I can make a full career and make a very good living if I find the right environment.
You really can, and your environment's going to dictate your income. Okay. Now, naturally, if somebody would say, "Can I make a career out of being a server at Cassoulet?" Okay. Yes and no. Those are more geared for a younger
Entry level.
Correct. Whenever you come into a place like mine, my niche, not saying age is a must, but my niche is to find somebody late 20s to early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I think whenever I have somebody in that age bracket, they can relate to everybody that walks through my door.
Yes.
Okay. I had a lady there. I still have her. I believe she's in her 50s, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully she's not watching this and calls me out on calling her age, but I won't mention a name. She's excellent. Excellent. Very personable, very good with my clientele. They constantly ask for. Wow. So, again, yes, if you're in a restaurant that offers the atmosphere we offer, the potential for you to make some seriously good money is there.
Good.
We have a upper crust clientele, and we also have, blue collar workers as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the ability to be able to earn a good income is there.
That's good.
By all means.
Yes.
By all means.
That's awesome. So before I ask my final question, it's my favorite question, by the way. Before I ask my final question, is there anything that you'd like to throw out? Anything at all for the audience?
Watch the show. Yeah. Apparently, this is a good show. We need to stay on here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes. We appreciate that. That was unexpected. We didn't pay him to say that either. That was totally extemporaneous. So my favorite question, if you could go back in time to your younger years, let's say before you graduated high school, when you were just making good enough grades to stay in sports, and you could give yourself some advice, some wisdom from the older you to the younger you, what would you say?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Okay. And stay focused. It's that simple. Stay focused. Pick a point you want to get to and stay focused to get to that point. As far as how I look at myself and I look back, I don't necessarily really have any regrets. I think if a person has regrets, they're discounting what's molded them to be who they are today. So when I look back and I say I don't have any regrets, I can honestly say I don't have any regrets.
That's profound.
That
is profound. I like that. Stay focused, stay goal and growth oriented.
Stay focused, stay goal oriented, find your path, and don't deviate.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, Shane, you have been a wonderful guest.
Awesome.
I believe our audience is going to get a lot out of this.
I hope so.
It's been an honor and a privilege to have you with us. Look forward to eating some more of your good food.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm proud to say that you're offering these opportunities for growth in our community. You're not just offering food. You're not just making money, but you're actually giving a place where people can go and grow. Correct. And become something more.
Correct. That's what we're wanting to do. We're wanting to give opportunity to those that deserve opportunity. Okay. If you have a drive and you want to be a better person, I'm probably the place for you if you want to excel in that industry. If you want to meet a clientele that you could have opportunity for later in life, for who knows what it may be. We have the clientele that comes in. We have everything from attorneys to highly successful business owners. And then we have everything down to welders. I mean, I'm not discounting any certain person. Everybody brings wealth to a table.
That's right.
So if you get to that table and you meet these people, that's where your life will go. If you retract back a little bit to where we were earlier in this podcast, made a comment when I was 13 years old, how I met some highly influential people. you can meet people anywhere. Just have an open mind and an open line of communication for everybody, because you never know where they're going to lead you in the future.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Well, Chuck, have you anything you'd like to add?
No, not to that. That was perfect.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate that. And thank you for being the influence you are, not only on your family. I enjoy hearing about your kids. We didn't get to hear a whole lot, but we got to hear enough to hear that they are set to drive forward. And that's awesome. But definitely on our community and the people who come to you and look for opportunity. You're doing it, and we appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for everybody out there in our audience allowing us to become a part of the pursuit of your purpose. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And today we've had with us
Shane Martin.
Make sure y'all go visit him at the Grill at Calder. Be one of the best food experiences of your life. Thanks. Y'all have a great day.